Have you ever wondered if the vegetables you've been eating for years might actually be hurting your health instead of helping it? Sounds shocking, right? But for those of us over 60, some common veggies can quietly cause bloating, inflammation, and even mess with your thyroid or joints, without you even realizing it. Today, we're exposing the truth about 7 vegetables seniors should never eat. Because feeling your best starts with knowing what to avoid. Yes. Have you ever looked at your dinner plate and thought, well, it's all vegetables, it must be good for me, right? Most of us have. After all, we've been told our whole lives that vegetables are the key to good health. And for the most part, that's true. But what if I told you that some vegetables, yes, even the ones we often think are healthy, can actually cause more harm than good as we get older? Now, I know that might sound surprising, maybe even a little frustrating. After all, you've been trying to do the right thing, eating your greens, adding color to your meals, skipping the processed stuff. But here's the truth. Our bodies change with age, and that means the way we respond to certain foods changes too. What might have been perfectly fine for you at 30 or 40 could now be making your joints ache, upsetting your stomach, or even spiking your blood pressure. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. In this video, we're going to uncover 7 vegetables that seniors should be very cautious about, or maybe even avoid altogether. These aren't obscure, hard-to-find veggies either. We're talking about common ones you'll find in nearly every kitchen or grocery store. Some of them might even be sitting in your fridge right now. So let's dive right in and talk about the first one. Let's say it's a chilly evening, and you're in the mood for something comforting. You reach for your favorite can of soup, maybe a hearty minestrone or a nice vegetable stew. You heat it up, and there it is. Corn. That bright, golden, buttery sweetness that makes every bite feel like a little taste of summer. But here's the thing. While corn might be a nostalgic favorite, it's not doing any favors for your blood sugar. You see, corn is a starchy vegetable. That means it's packed with carbohydrates that your body breaks down into sugar. For someone over 60, especially if you're dealing with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, that can cause blood sugar spikes that leave you feeling tired, foggy, and even a bit irritable afterward. And those repeated spikes? They're linked to serious health concerns like heart problems, nerve damage, and even cognitive decline over time. Plus, a lot of corn today is genetically modified, which can raise concerns about how your digestive system handles it. If you've ever eaten corn and felt bloated or gassy afterward, you're not imagining it. It's a hard-to-digest grain disguised as a vegetable. So instead of reaching for that can of corn soup or microwaving a side of creamed corn, try something like roasted cauliflower or a warm bowl of lentil soup instead. It'll be gentler on your system and more nutritious too. Now, let's talk about another vegetable that might shock you. Picture this. It's a bright summer day and you're making a crisp, refreshing salad. You add some greens, a little olive oil, maybe a squeeze of lemon, and of course, you grab that shiny red tomato. After all, tomatoes are healthy, right? They're full of antioxidants, they've got vitamins. What could go wrong? Well, for many seniors, especially those dealing with joint pain or arthritis, tomatoes can be a hidden trigger. Tomatoes belong to a family of vegetables called nightshades, which also includes potatoes, eggplants, and peppers. For some people, these vegetables can lead to inflammation, especially in the joints. If you've been noticing more stiffness in your hands or knees, or you wake up feeling sore for no clear reason, nightshades might be worth reconsidering. It doesn't happen to everyone, but some people are more sensitive to the compounds in these veggies, particularly something called solanine, which can irritate the gut and contribute to inflammation. And here's the thing, inflammation is a sneaky troublemaker. It might start with some minor aches, but over time, it can lead to more serious issues like cardiovascular disease or worsening arthritis symptoms. If this sounds like you, it doesn't mean you need to give up tomatoes forever. But it might be worth cutting them out for a couple of weeks and seeing how your body responds. Pay attention to how your joints feel, your digestion, even your mood. You might be surprised at what a difference it makes. And speaking of vegetables, we've always assumed were good for us, let's talk about one that shows up at just about every picnic, side dish, or snack plate: celery. Now, don't get me wrong, celery has its place. It's low in calories, it's got fiber, and it can add a nice crunch to your meal. But here's the catch. Celery is one of the vegetables most heavily sprayed with pesticides. In fact, it's often on the dirty dozen list, which highlights produce with the highest pesticide residues. And as we age, our bodies become more sensitive to chemicals and toxins. Our liver, which does the heavy lifting of detoxifying everything we consume, can become less efficient over time. That means any pesticides we take in from conventionally grown produce may linger longer, potentially affecting our immune system, hormone balance, and even cognitive health. So if celery is a regular part of your diet, especially raw celery in salads or snacks, you might want to consider switching to organic. Or better yet, swap it out for something like cucumber or jicama, which tend to have lower pesticide levels and are gentler on the system. Now that we've explored a few of these surprising vegetable pitfalls, it's clear that even the healthiest intentions can sometimes backfire if we're not paying close attention. But the good news is, this isn't about fear, it's about awareness. When you know better, you can choose better. And the best part, you don't have to overhaul your entire diet. Just a few thoughtful swaps here and there can make a big difference in how you feel day to day. Now that we've talked about some of those sneaky vegetables like corn, tomatoes, and celery, let's keep this conversation going. Because here's the thing, it's not just about what we eat, it's about how our bodies respond to what we eat. And sometimes, those little responses, a bit of heartburn, a sore joint, a foggy afternoon, are actually your body's way of trying to get your attention. So, let's listen a little closer today. Let's take a moment and talk about spinach. I know. How could spinach possibly be on this list, right? It's practically the poster child for health. Popeye ate it by the can, and for decades, we've been told it's loaded with iron, good for the bones and full of vitamins. And yes, all of that is true, to an extent. But here's what you might not know. Spinach is also very high in something called oxalates. Now, oxalates are naturally occurring compounds in some plants. And while they're not dangerous in small amounts, they can become a problem, especially for older adults who are prone to kidney stones or bone loss. Oxalates can bind to calcium in the body and actually prevent it from being absorbed properly. So if you're taking calcium supplements or trying to strengthen your bones through diet, too much spinach might be quietly working against your efforts. And let's talk about kidney stones for a moment. They're not just painful, they're downright brutal. Oxalates are one of the main culprits behind calcium oxalate stones, the most common type. So if you've had kidney stones in the past, or you've been warned by your doctor to watch your calcium levels, spinach might be a vegetable you need to eat only occasionally, and always cooked, never raw, to reduce its oxalate load. Now, we're not demonizing spinach here. Cooked in moderation and balanced with other foods, it can still be part of a healthy meal plan. But if you've been loading up on raw spinach every day in salads or smoothies, it might be time to consider other leafy greens, like kale, arugula, or romaine, that are gentler on your kidneys and bones. Speaking of leafy greens, let's shift gears to another surprise on the list: beet greens and beets themselves. They're often touted as a superfood these days, especially for heart health and circulation. But for seniors, especially those with certain conditions, beets can be a bit of a double-edged sword. Beets are high in natural nitrates, which the body converts into nitric oxide, a compound that can help widen blood vessels and improve blood flow. Sounds good, right? But here's where it gets tricky. If you're already taking medications for high blood pressure, beets might overdo the job. They can lower your blood pressure too much, especially if consumed in large quantities or combined with other nitrate-rich foods. And here's another important piece. Like spinach, beets are high in oxalates too. That means if you're eating them regularly for their heart benefits, but also dealing with kidney issues, you could be setting yourself up for some discomfort down the road. Not to mention that beet greens, the leafy tops, are even higher in oxalates than the root itself. So what can you do? If you love beets, enjoy them occasionally and in moderation. Don't treat them like a daily must-have. And if you're unsure how they're affecting you, track how you feel afterward. Sometimes, even things we assume are helping us might be tipping the scales in ways we don't notice until we step back. Now, let's pause for just a second. If all of this is starting to feel a little overwhelming, take a deep breath. This isn't about fear, it's about freedom. Freedom to make choices that support your body in the phase it's in right now. You've earned that freedom. You've made it through decades of life's ups and downs, and now your body is just asking for a little more attention, a little more care. And that's what this is all about. So let's keep going and talk about another vegetable that might surprise you: eggplant. Just like tomatoes, eggplant is part of that nightshade family we mentioned earlier. It's beautiful to look at, has a rich, meaty texture, and is often used in everything from curries to casseroles. But it's also another one that can trigger inflammation, especially in the joints. Some people say that after a night of eating eggplant parm, they wake up with stiff hands or aching knees. That's not just in their head, it's a real response to those nightshade compounds we talked about earlier. For seniors already dealing with osteoarthritis or other inflammatory conditions, that reaction can quietly chip away at your comfort and mobility over time. Eggplants also contain something called histamines, which can cause reactions in people who are sensitive, things like headaches, rashes, or even digestive upset. And again, just like with the other vegetables we've mentioned, this doesn't mean you need to ban eggplant forever. But if you've noticed strange symptoms after eating it, or it seems to make your arthritis flare up, it might be worth experimenting with a break from it. And if you're worried about what to eat instead, there are so many options. Zucchini, for example, has a similar texture and works beautifully in the same kinds of dishes, without the inflammation trigger. It's all about finding swaps that still bring you joy in the kitchen and on your plate, but don't leave you feeling worse afterward. Food should make you feel nourished, not drained, not sore, and definitely not foggy or bloated. As we age, our bodies deserve better, more thoughtful choices. You've done the hard work of getting to this stage in life. Now it's time to support your health with the right fuel. Every small decision you make adds up. Every time you choose a vegetable that supports your digestion or reduces inflammation, you're giving your body a little gift. And those gifts, they show up in the way you move, the way you sleep, the way you feel when you wake up in the morning. They show up in your energy, your clarity, and even in your mood. Let's keep going. You know, the more we talk about these seemingly healthy foods, the clearer it becomes. What's right for one person might not be right for everyone, especially as we get older. Our bodies change, our digestion shifts, and the foods that once gave us energy might now leave us feeling sluggish or uncomfortable. And that's okay. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign that your body is evolving, just like you've evolved through every season of life. Now, there's one vegetable that often flies under the radar, but for many seniors, it can be quite troublesome, and that's raw cruciferous vegetables. Things like broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage. Yes, I said it. I know these are considered some of the healthiest veggies out there, full of fiber, vitamins, and cancer-fighting compounds. It almost feels wrong to question them, doesn't it? But here's where the issue comes in: when they're raw. For seniors, especially those with a slower metabolism or weaker digestive systems, raw cruciferous vegetables can be hard to break down. They contain substances called goitrogens, which can interfere with thyroid function when consumed in large amounts. So if you've ever noticed feeling extra tired, cold, or foggy-headed after eating a big raw salad with broccoli or cauliflower, it might not be your imagination. And there's more. These veggies can cause gas, bloating, and discomfort for people whose digestive systems aren't as robust as they used to be. That's why lightly steaming or sautéing them can make a world of difference. Cooking helps break down those tough fibers and neutralize some of the compounds that make them hard to digest. You still get the benefits, just in a gentler, more senior-friendly way. Now let's move on to a vegetable that seems innocent at first glance: peppers. Whether they're bell peppers or the spicier varieties, peppers are bright, crunchy, and loaded with vitamin C. But for many older adults, especially those with acid reflux or sensitive stomachs, peppers can be a real troublemaker. Even mild bell peppers can trigger digestive distress, that burning feeling in the chest, the uncomfortable bloating after a meal. It can all be linked back to foods that irritate the stomach lining. And peppers, especially when eaten raw or in large amounts, are a common culprit for people already taking medications for GERD or other digestive issues. Eating peppers can sometimes undo the progress you're making. And if you're reaching for hot peppers for that spicy kick, well, that's a double whammy. Spicy foods can increase acid production in the stomach and slow down digestion. So while a little heat might feel exciting at the moment, it might come with a price, especially when bedtime rolls around and that heartburn kicks in. Does this mean you need to give up peppers forever? Not at all. But maybe roasting them gently or pairing them with calming, alkaline foods like cucumber or avocado could help reduce their impact. It's about listening to your body, experimenting with small changes, and noticing what actually makes you feel good, not just what's trendy or labeled as healthy. And speaking of trends, have you noticed how many people are adding kale to everything these days? Smoothies, soups, salads. It's like kale is the star of the show. But here's something most people don't realize. Kale can be very hard on the thyroid when eaten raw and in excess, especially for seniors. Just like those other cruciferous vegetables, kale contains goitrogens. And for older adults, especially women over 60, thyroid health is something to keep a close eye on. If your thyroid isn't functioning properly, you can feel tired all the time, have trouble losing weight, feel cold even when it's warm, and just generally feel off. And if you're already taking medication for thyroid issues, eating large amounts of raw kale could interfere with how well that medication works. Again, cooked kale is a completely different story. When steamed or sautéed, it becomes gentler, easier to digest, and far less likely to interfere with your hormones. So if you love kale, and many people do, just enjoy it in moderation and give your body the help it needs to process it well. Now, here's the last one we're going to talk about, and it might just be the biggest surprise of them all: mushrooms. Technically, mushrooms aren't even vegetables, they're fungi, but they often get lumped in with vegetables on your plate. And while some types of mushrooms are perfectly safe and even beneficial, others can be risky, especially for seniors. The main issue: mushrooms can be difficult to digest and often cause allergic reactions or sensitivity symptoms that many people don't recognize right away. Nausea, headaches, fatigue, or even skin reactions can sometimes be traced back to mushrooms, especially varieties like portobello or shiitake when not cooked thoroughly. And here's something you might not hear. Often, as we get older, our immune systems can become more sensitive to toxins and allergens in foods. While a younger body might brush off a minor reaction, an older one might feel the effects more strongly. And when mushrooms aren't stored or cooked properly, they can grow bacteria that may cause food poisoning or digestive upset. That's not a risk worth taking, especially when there are plenty of other satisfying, nutrient-rich options on your plate. So here we are. We've taken a closer look at some of the vegetables that might not be as senior-friendly as we once thought. And it's not about fear. It's not about cutting everything out of your diet or feeling restricted. It's about awareness. It's about having the knowledge to choose foods that support the version of you that exists right now. Not the one from 20 years ago, not the one from last year, but the strong, wise, resilient version of you who's watching this video today. Because the truth is, every season of life brings changes. And just like we change how we dress for the weather or how we organize our day, we can change how we eat to match our body's current needs. That's not giving up. That's growing smarter. And I hope this video has helped you feel just a little bit smarter, a little more in tune, and a lot more empowered to make choices that truly serve your health. And remember, your health journey doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be intentional. Swap one vegetable at a time. Pay attention to how your body reacts. Make small adjustments. And before you know it, you'll be feeling more energetic, more comfortable, and more in control. So go ahead, take what you've learned here today, make one small change, and see how your body responds. You've got nothing to lose, and so much vitality to gain. You've made it this far with me, and that says a lot about your commitment to feeling better, staying informed, and living fully in this chapter of life. So before we wrap things up, let's take a deep breath together and appreciate something. Health isn't about extremes. It's about understanding, awareness, and small steps that lead to big changes. Now you might be wondering, after all we've talked about, what does that leave me with? What can I eat safely? The answer is plenty. In fact, once you know what to watch out for, your choices become clearer, not more limited, and more importantly, they become tailored to you. That's the beautiful thing about taking control of your health later in life. You're doing it with wisdom on your side. But here's something most people overlook. Just as important as what you eat is how you eat. Let's say you're avoiding raw cruciferous veggies or peppers now. That's a great step. But if you're still eating while distracted, rushing meals, or ignoring those gentle cues your body gives you, even the best food choices might fall short. So let this be a gentle reminder to slow down. Light a candle at dinner. Sit at the table instead of the couch. Put on soft music. These small rituals turn meals into moments, and when you're present with your food, your body responds in kind. Digestion improves, energy rises, and that feeling of being off slowly fades away. And here's the thing, aging isn't about losing who you were. It's about discovering who you're becoming. It's about trading speed for steadiness, chaos for calm, and confusion for clarity. Every food choice you make from this point forward is a vote for the kind of life you want to live. Not just longer, but better, fuller, richer. Now maybe you've realized that some of the veggies you used to swear by are no longer your friends. That's okay. There's no shame in outgrowing certain habits. You've outgrown lots of things before. Fashions, beliefs, even people, and this is no different. You're evolving, and your plate should evolve with you. But you don't have to figure it all out at once. You don't need a fridge full of supplements or a stack of nutrition books. All you need is a willingness to listen to your body, learn what works, and let go of what doesn't. That might mean roasting your veggies instead of eating them raw. It might mean trying a new herb to soothe digestion, or it might mean saying no to foods that no longer serve you, even if the health magazines say otherwise, because you are the expert on your body, not the internet, not the latest trend, not even your doctor, although they can help guide you. At the end of the day, you know how you feel. You know what drains you and what lights you up. Trust that. That inner wisdom is more powerful than any diet plan. Now, before we finish, I just want to take a moment to say this. I'm proud of you for showing up, for listening, for caring about yourself enough to be curious, to question the familiar, and to make choices that put you first. That kind of self-respect is rare, and it's beautiful. And if this video helped you in any way, if it sparked a thought, confirmed something you felt, or gave you a new idea to try, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend who might need this information too. Someone who's been wondering why their stomach feels unsettled, why their energy feels off, or why healthy food just doesn't seem to work anymore. Because when we share knowledge, we grow together. And this community right here of curious, empowered, health-conscious seniors is stronger when we lift each other up. So if you found this helpful, give this video a like. It's a small click, but it helps more than you know. And if you want more tips like this, more gentle, real conversations about how to feel your best in this amazing chapter of life, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We've got a lot more to talk about, and I'd love for you to be part of it. And of course, drop a comment below. Let me know, have you had experiences with any of these vegetables we talked about? Have you noticed any food that just doesn't sit right with you anymore? Or maybe you've found a great alternative that works better for your body now. Whatever it is, I'd love to hear it. This isn't just my space, it's our space. And your story matters. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's stay curious. Let's keep choosing ourselves every single day. Because the truth is, you've worked hard to get to this stage of life. You've earned every laugh line, every silver hair, every ounce of wisdom. And now, you deserve to feel strong, vibrant, and confident in your body. Not someday, today. Here's to living your best life, one smart choice at a time. And remember, it's never too late to feel amazing.